the engine temperature can be an issue. So you have to watch the oil temperature, increase the oil into the engine to allow more lubrication and make sure that that aircraft runs as efficiently as possible.
Red Bull.
Now, I understand this particular aircraft was manufactured in 1953, so I've done some maths. It's happy 70th birthday.
Happy birthday to the Clacton Fury.
I don't think we'll all sing because we won't hear us, but 70 years, believe it or not, what a dedication it is to keep his aircraft running.
Absolutely, and it was a British fighter aircraft. It was designed and manufactured by Hawker, but it was in fact the last propeller-driven fighter to serve with the Royal Navy, and it's one of the fastest production single-piston-engined aircraft ever built. It's got some incredible performance and flies up to 450 miles per hour. So Paul Bonham, many of you airshow fans will know Paul's name. He was a Red Bull air racer, won many championships from 2003 up to 2015. Very well known and much loved aerobatic display pilot and commercial airline pilot when he's not busy at air shows.
Wonderful view as it banked up into the skies, but there are little patches of blue now, but it's silhouetted beautifully against the white clouds in actual fact, getting a good view of the undercarriage now.
Can't see a thing on the screen.
Flying inverted upside down, another wing manoeuvre 90 degrees and back the right way up.
That was a beautiful hesitation roll from Paul Bonham there as he flew along the beach and then just did an aileron roll, and he paused the aircraft on each of the four corners of the turn, just showing the absolute precision and accuracy that aerobatic pilots can demonstrate in these wonderfully capable aircraft. You know, it's an old girl, it's 70 years old, but it was developed later part of the Second World War and then entered its service, as we said, in 1953. It was a very popular aircraft with a number of overseas militaries, and in fact it flew in the Korean War.
What plane is it? Excuse me? What plane is it?
I don't know, it's an old one though, it's from the 40s. They'll say on there sometime.
Over there.
Okay, yeah.
So Paul's flying just centre of the beach over the wing farm, climbing up. We've got a lovely view of the aircraft as he slowly pirouettes into a lovely little loop, flying away from us now towards the ships watching the air show in the distance there. And this aircraft is actually in the colour scheme of the Royal Navy prototypes. Those of you who've got the programme, do have a little look at the colour scheme of the aircraft there. Flying along the beach now and slowly rolling, giving us a lovely view of the shape of the aircraft as he continues to do hesitation rolls. I think he quite likes that manoeuvre. It's a manoeuvre that a lot of aerobatic pilots enjoy. They use it in aerobatic competitions, and it's a wonderful way just to show the capabilities of these aircraft.
Wonderful bright yellow undercarriage. If you're listening to Radio Air Show from BBC Essex on the end of Clacton Pier, you're getting a great view as the Fury came towards you, your end of the seafront, banking high up into the sky, over the boats now. The roar of that engine just sounds so magical, doesn't it?
It's just a wonderful sound, and we know we're back at Clacton Air Show and the sun's shining just on cue for the first aerobatic display, which is super great timing. Now, in fact, this aircraft has travelled around the world somewhat. It was developed and built, as we said, in the early 50s and served in the Korean War, as well as in an invasion of Cuba in 1961. It then went on to an owner in Orlando in Florida, down near Disney World, and served in Iraq in the late 70s. It then found its way over into Texas up to the 1990s, and then over to Australia before coming back here to the UK. Having a good time here in Clacton, as well as Paul flies the Fury along the beach there, and we had a lovely roar of the engine. That's the Bristol Centaurus 8 engine that we can hear growling at us as he performs manoeuvres. And it's not just the aircraft that has a link to the United States. Paul himself actually gained his pilot's license when he was just 18 years old at an airfield near Dallas in Texas, would you believe, before becoming a flight instructor and then joining a Welsh charter airline before moving on to Boeing 737s with British Airways.
Just give me a call and stop me now. A good time, yes, a good time. I don't want to stop at all. On my way to Mars on a collision course. I am a satellite.
And whilst Paul displays in his Fury above us, on the beach in front of Radio Air Show, we have still got members of the Tigers parachute display team meeting excited members of the public, having some pictures, high-fiving the youngsters on the beach. Thank you to the Tigers for staying and giving so much of their time to meet the crowds here in Clacton.
Don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me. Hey, hey, hey! Don't stop me, don't stop me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't stop me, don't stop me. Have a good time, good time. Don't stop me, don't stop me. Oh.
As we enjoy
perform its first manoeuvre, the quarter clover. David John is known to most as DJ or Gibbo. He was born in Southport and started his flying career in the Royal Navy in 1996, flying the Sea King and support helicopter role. As this is DJ's second year with the tutor display, he is operating at a base height of 300 feet, and this is 200 feet lower than his previous season. DJ now regains his airspeed. And pulls up into another quarter clover. As he goes over the top, he achieves 1,300 feet. DJ rolls 90 degrees whilst pointing straight up before completing a stall turn at almost zero airspeed. Being enthusiasts amongst you may notice this is the only 2023 RAF display where you're able to see a stall turn performed. DJ is now serving in the Royal Air Force, and when not displaying, he's responsible for training qualified military pilots to become instructors on the Grob Tutor. In his spare time, DJ flies vintage airplanes, races powerboats, and drives classic cars. During his varied career, DJ has amassed over 6,000 flying hours on 50 different aircraft types. The Tutor is operated by No. 6 Flying Training School, primarily for UAS students and air cadets. 6 FTS is also engaged in other essential defence tasks, such as frontline mission rehearsal and the training of mission support crew. The wingover is a combined pitching and rolling manoeuvre used to turn the flight path to 180 degrees. notice in this wing over, every wing is slightly different as DJ carefully sets his flight path to cater for differing wing conditions and aircraft energy states. The Cheetah has a top speed of 212 miles per hour and can achieve a maximum of 6 G, meaning that the pilot is subjected to forces 6 times stronger than gravity. Whilst it will not be as loud or as fast as other displays, displaying the Cheetah requires careful energy management due to its low power to weight ratio. DJ now uses the wing over to regain as much energy as possible as he sets up to perform his next manoeuvre. There are 13 air experience slots across the UK. They serve 1,200 air cadet squadrons from our combined cadet force units nationwide. Each year the experience flights have equipped 20,000 cadets. And you can join the air cadets if you are between 12 and 17 years old. And from the age of 13, you can guide and fighting or flying the Cheetah and experience aerobatic maneuvers like you see today. The RAF Air Cadets is one of the largest providers of the conventional reward scheme and offers a range of other adventurous training. The Grob 115E Tutor is operated in partnership with Babcock International Group. It is constructed of a carbon composite material and has a 180 horsepower Lycoming piston engine. DJ will pull up into the vertical for another skill turn, and this is an excellent photo opportunity. As DJ presents the underside of the aircraft to you, you will see the Royal Air Force Benevolent Fund Hub since 2022 to celebrate a fantastic charity. The Benevolent Fund supports Royal Air Force personnel, air cadets, veterans and their wider families whenever they are in need. The charity is awareness for a charity gives so much to the whole of the RAF family. For those of you considering going to university, there are 50 university air squadrons across the UK, tutored by highly experienced military fire instructors. The Tutor is capable of sustained inverted flight, which DJ will now demonstrate on this inverted path. Sat at negative 1G and hanging in his straps, this is not a comfortable position to be in as blood rushes to his head. The University Air Squadron provides a huge opportunity for personal development. They particularly embrace the Royal Air Force's core values of respect, integrity, service and excellence. The US offers a wide variety of adventurous training in the UK and expeditions across the globe. In this 4-point roll, DJ will delicately use the rudder to support the nose above the horizon while flying at 90 degrees angle of bank. Visit our tents, website, or view the Tutor display leaflets for access a QR code to donate to the Benevolent Fund.
I don't know, but I can see it in the camera.
University Air Squadron members are not committed to a military career after graduation.
There's got in
Many
a
do decide to join the Royal Air Force. Why not visit the Tutor stand and talk to the University of London Air Squadron students about their experiences? There are sponsorship schemes available to ease the financial burden of university life, and you can visit the RAF website to find out more.
Yeah.
I would like to take this moment to say a big thank you to
If it starts raining, you can just go under the tree, can't they?
Berlin UK, Squadron Prince and Babcock to provide a much of the merchandise and supported us throughout the season.
Not a bad view here, but my arm's going holding this camera.
Following this wing over, DJ will complete the loop. The loop is a quintessential aerobatic manoeuvre. Up, he is subject to 5G. DJ aims to pitch an imaginary circle in the sky. Even when inverted, the centrifugal forces keep him pressed into his seat.
It's too cloudy to see.
The high tempo of Royal Air Force operations continue today, with aircraft and personnel deployed around the world, operating with NATO and our other allies. All the while, our Fury forces secure the skies above the United Kingdom 24/7, 365. Today, the Royal Air Force is recruiting from multiple rewarding and demanding professions. These professions include air crew, air operation controllers, engineers, medics, cyberspace specialists, and many more. The Royal Air Force has an exciting future with the continued development of the Lightning, Poseidon, and Space Command. They will soon be joined by the introduction of the Wedgetail and Protector aircraft. After completing this swing over, DJ will enter the slow roll. Get your cameras ready for some great angles, and make sure you tag the RAF display on social media so you can see your shots. Throughout the slow roll, DJ will skillfully coordinate elevator, rudder, and aileron inputs in order to keep the lift vector pointing upwards.
Yeah, it's not so hot
This
now.
prevents him from descending towards the ground.
It's over there, I can't see much on the screen.
DJ will now bring the tutor around for his departing wave. This is another great photo opportunity. Toronto formation. We're going to be welcoming a fairy swordfish and a Ross HAS-1 helicopter coming over the pier, operated by the Navy Wings, which is a charity working to preserve Britain's great naval aviation heritage. And just before we launch into telling you about the guns, the Battle of Toronto, which is what is known as this display, took place on the night of the 11th to the 12th of November 1940 during the Second World War between British naval forces and Italian naval forces. The Royal Navy launched the first all-aircraft ship-to-ship naval attack in history, employing 21 Fairey Swordfish biplane torpedo bombers from the HMS Illustrious in the Mediterranean Sea. According to Admiral Cunningham, Taranto, on the night of the 11th to the 12th of November 1940, should be remembered forever as having shown once and for all that in the fleet's air arm, the Navy has its most devastating weapon. And what a sight that was as the aircraft made a slow pass along Clacton seafront from left to right. They're just banking round now in front of us, the Fairey Swordfish in the lead, the almost dwarfed Ross helicopter just behind. Sam Williams is watching with me on the commentary points. And Sam, whilst you tell us a little bit about the aircraft, I'm going to be introducing a very special guest to Radio Air Show as we have a swordfish veteran joining us on our commentary points.
Well, it's so wonderful to see some naval heritage here in the air, and we've got a wonderful view from the commentary point of the Swordfish Mark I. It's the oldest surviving airworthy Fairey swordfish in the world. It first flew on Trafalgar Day on the 21st of October 1941 and was a blackfish built by Blackburn Aircraft. It was short right towards the commentary point here. We've got the swordfish and the wasp in a breaking away. The swordfish flying towards the pier and the wasp banking out over the wind farm towards the ship, over towards the Martello Towers direction of Clacton Beach. Now, I was very excited to see the wasp helicopter today. I was pleased to display the tour, and again, extremely capable aircraft. She was built in 1964 for a 706 Naval Air Squadron, and she was based on various ships running the HMS Nubian, HMS Pepe, HMS Aurora, and HMS Ajax. She served in the Falklands and has red crescent painted on her to signify her casualty.
I'll see you, darling.
She was disposed of by the Royal Navy in the mid-1990s. The Ross HAS Mark I was introduced service in 1964, and she was the first generation jet engine helicopter built for the Royal Navy. She's based on the Saunders Roe contract of a Lightning 20 helicopter for the British Army. Some of you know about that. We'll say a bit more about the aircraft history of our
listeners to BBC Essex and viewers to the BBC News website and iPlayer. I am alongside a veteran who served as a rear gunner on a swordfish. His name is Ron Underwood. He is from Brightonsea, just down the road from where we are today. And Ron is eagerly watching the display in front of us, waiting for the return of the swordfish, because we've got the rock. Doing some wonderful aerobatics at the moment in the skies above us. I'm going to listen to that powerful rotor.
Clacton's here, pay for these. Pay for all these pay. Oh, I don't know. I think I can hear.
Moving backwards as the pilot slowly rotates the aircraft, and you can see the rotor blades chugging away there, and you can see underneath the aircraft you've got the kind of undercarriage, and it's a really interesting
That's down there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right down the other end.
Yeah.
It's past all the stalls even, isn't it?
Yeah, must be. Yeah, we're not going down that way. I'm up in here.
You've got long-stroke oilos, multiple wheels that can be towed outward and inward depending on operational needs. The Wasp also has staging elements for the tail and the main rotors to enable shipboard storage, storage rather. And you've got a deck securing system and then a medical kit to stick the Wasp to an even deck when you're landing on rough seas. You've got a metal tail rotor,
Yeah.
horizontal stabilizer opposite the tail rotor, and then an in-the armory with anti-submarine warfare avionics, anti-submarine warfare armament, auto-stabilization, autopilot, a radar altimeter for search and rescue operations, a winch and flotation devices. Some pretty impressive kit to our aircraft that was launched in 1964. Flying the Wasp helicopter this afternoon is Alan pilot Steve January, who joined the Royal Navy for the Canberra Royal Navy College in Dartford in January 1976.
Yeah. It might be a Coast Guard. It's a Coast Guard usually.
In that sort of back in the day, in that rear gunner position, he's from Brightonsea and he's with us now live on Radio Air Show. Ron, can I interrupt your viewing pleasure and just ask you a little bit about how you're feeling seeing the swordfish once again in the sky?
Saying that it's just that one that flew. In fact, one of them was one that I flew in 1945 and it's still flying now.
This very aircraft?
Yes, S2, right? And in 1945, it meant that they'd managed to fly throughout all of World War II, and without hardly a scratch.
What is it like on board when you're in that rear gunner position?
Well, I was mostly in the cold, so it was Atlantic convoys and Russian convoys, and it was extremely cold. But, I mean, you had full of everything. You had silk gloves, woolen gloves, and gauntlets, and the same with the fire suit, so you actually need it, I should say.
I asked you how old you were back in 1945 when you were in that swordfish?
I was 21. I joined the Fleet Arm when I was 17. I did my flight training in Canada, and once I left Canada, it was in swordfish for the rest of my service. So, apart from my little hiccup when the engine broke, that my broke down and we came down in the sea, I never had a scratch. My goodness, how did you get out of Clacton, landing in water? Well, it was off the coast of Limited Island, and the engine failed, and as the pilot was exceptional. He brought it down head first in a gentle glide, and when we hit the water, it catapulted me out of the top into the water, and the May West that was never inflated, and other inflated in the main plane that didn't know it. I had to get down and get in the sea. Anyway, we were saved by a corvette which is sailing nearby. And I'm still here.
You are. And how old did you say?
98.
98. I was going to test my maths anymore, but at 98, you're looking very good, Ron, and you're enjoying watching the swordfish here, aren't you?
Wonderful, yeah. Just a slow thing like that, and the amount that did during the war, it was wonderful. A real workhorse, absolutely. Yeah.
Ron, I'm going to let you be for the next few minutes to watch from